Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of In the Spotlight, a little sister channel I have for my Let's Get Physical Facebook page. If you're not a member, come join us over there as we talk about everything physical media, from CDs, albums, to magazines, to comic books, to the Blu-rays. Today, we have Steve Hajas, which is the North American way of saying it, and the Hungarian way is Steve, what again? Hajas, and I'm a quarter Hungarian, so I should be able to get that. Tell the folks where you're from and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm 59 years old. I'm from Mississauga, Ontario, which is just west of Toronto. So I grew up obviously in Mississauga. The early 70s, I'm a child of the 70s. So the early 70s, I had a little transistor radio that I always listened to religiously. That was my access to music. And the first, you listen to pop music at first, basically, like the early 70s. So the first songs that I remember enjoying were like Terry Jack's Season in the Sun, The Night Chicago Died by Paper Lace, School's Out by Alice Cooper, Crocodile Rock, Elton John. That was my introduction into music, pop music. So I was aware of the Beatles, Pink Floyd, David Bowie, but those were way beyond a 9-year-old or 10-year-old's, purview. So as the 70s went on, then I started, once I started making money, I started buying 45s. So I started buying 45s, and I guess I'll start with those.
Are these your original 45s when you were?
Yes, I've had these since I was in my teens, my late teens. So here's the first. I'm just going to show you the ones with the nice pictures on them, because most of them are just remember the old white sleeves and the orange sleeves. There's a Paul McCartney coming up. Doctor and the Medics, which they did a version of Spirit in the Sky. I love these old 45s which have the artwork on it.
Now, do you still have a turntable to play these on?
Oh, yeah.
And how do they sound? Are they kind of noisy by now?
Oh, no, I took pretty good care of them.
Okay.
I took pretty good care of them. I still have about 400 albums. I used to have close to 1,000 albums, but I got rid of a lot of them. Leggett, they did a song called White Flags, which was covered by Blue Oyster Cult on their Club Ninja album.
See, now I did not know that was a cover.
And that's they're a progressive metal band, rock band. You'd probably like them.
Who is that again?
Leggett, Leggat, Leggett Brothers. I'm pretty sure you can get it on iTunes. Okay. But they have like an 8-minute version as well as a single version.
Because that BOC cover is one of my favorite BOC songs.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. And their version's really good too. John Lennon, Just Like Starting Over. Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Come on, Eileen.
Yes. And here's Physicals. Olivia
there you
Newton-John.
go.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of Olivia Newton-John every once in a while. God bless her soul. Steve Miller Band, Heart Like a Wheel. It's a great artwork on that. And I don't know if you remember Norm Macdonald. He had a TV show shortly after he left Saturday Night Live. He played like a sports reporter or something like that.
Oh, man.
The intro song was Doug and the Slugs, Too Bad, which it's from the early 80s as well, but that was the song that he used for the incidental music.
That sounds like a one-season show on Fox or something.
Yeah, it didn't last too long. But, I think it was after he got fired from SNL. I'm going to get into some forgotten 80s Canadian albums. I wouldn't say forgotten, but ones that I still have. Blue Peter. Oops, there we go. I just like showing off the artwork and some of these bands that didn't get the recognition that they probably deserve. They had a song called Chinese Graffiti, which was big here. Gowan,
Oh, yeah.
For Styx.
He's in Styx now. There's one song that now, did he name his band Gowan after him? Like kind of like a Dio or Dokken thing? Or is that
I think he was still pretty much a solo,
Okay.
Yeah, the song you're probably thinking of is Criminal Mind.
That's it.
Yeah, Criminal Minds with the
1985.
yes, 85. You're right. Yeah, 1985. He had a great video for that song.
Yeah, kind of proggy, kind of poppy
Right.
at the same time, and
Yeah, yeah. A lot of these
kind of
albums.
epic sounding.
Yeah. FM. They were big in the late 70s, early 80s in Canada. Streetheart, which was a Toronto band. I don't know if they got much play in the US either.
I don't know them.
Teenage Head. Frantic City. Now, if I had to make a list of top 100 albums, this would be one of them. Frantic City. They're from Hamilton, Ontario, which is close by. They were big around here. They're sort of like a neo-punk, new wave rock band. Great, great band. Unfortunately, Frankie Venom, oh, there's another shot of the band. He passed away a few years ago from cancer, and the guitarist, Gordon Lewis, who's right there in the back, he just passed away. He was murdered by his son, actually. Sad story.
That name's a little risque. Teenage Head. Sounds
Well,
like something you could get arrested for.
That was one of the problems why they couldn't get the airplay in the States, because I think they were close to getting a record deal in New York. They were going to fly to New York, and I guess the record executive said, you got to change your name, and they didn't change the name. But their music is great, especially that album, Frantic City. There's another shot of them. Okay. Gatto. Familiar with Gatto?
No.
Sort of like a heavy, sort of like Triumph, Rush.
Okay. Are there
probably
three
like
guys?
Yes. Yeah, Greg Godovitz, Doug Inglis, and Gino Scarpa. Sort of like Triumph, Rush, that ilk. This is a great album. This is probably their best album. They had about 4 or 5 albums as well. Active Gatto. Klaatu.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, there's a rumor in the mid 70s that they were actually the Beatles, because to this day nobody knows what Klaatu looks like. But
I always think of Army of Darkness when I hear Klaatu.
Okay. Yeah, they had the big song Sub Rosa Subway and calling occupants of interplanetary craft.
That was part of the magic words that Ash had to say in the Army of Darkness before he could take the book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it started with Klaatu and then some other stuff.
Men Without Hats, which is kind of a bizarre cover. They're like a new wave pop band.
Is that the one with the safety dance? I don't think that is it?
No, that's the one with Pop Goes the World. Yeah, Safety Dance was before that one.
Right, okay.
Spoons, which was a local band as well. They're sort of like orchestral maneuvers in the dark. You know, the back shot of the band. They had a song, Arias and Symphonies, which was big here. And Novaheart. Jane Siberry. She's sort of like I guess the closest you can say is Kate Bush. I don't think she would like that, but she was very prog, new wavy, very different styles. She's still around. She's put out about 20 albums.
Okay.
She had the big song Mimi on the Beach on this, which is very proggy as well. Some people would say she's proggy.
I don't know a lot of these bands.
Well, yeah, it's a shame that a lot of these bands didn't make it south of the border. I mean, they were big locally. They were all chart-topping. They all had chart-topping songs in Canada. There's another Jane Siberry, Speckless Sky. The Payolas. I don't know if they got any airplay south either. This is probably their biggest album. They had about 4 or 5 great songs on this. Eyes of a Stranger. And I think they had the same problem as Teenage Head, is where the record companies in the States didn't like the name Payolas because it brought flashbacks of the 50s and 60s when record bands were paying off DJs. So there was another band that the execs wanted them to change their name. David Wilcox, he's sort of like a blues rocker, sort of maybe like George Thorogood's Steve Ray Vaughan, maybe a little bluesier, but he was pretty big around here. Martha and the Muffins.
Man, you are educating us on some Canadian bands.
Yeah. Oh, I'll move on quickly after this. Echo Beach was their big song.
Okay.
But part of the thing was in Canada, they had CanCon rules, which is the radio stations had to play 30% Canadian content. So that probably helped a lot of these. Yeah, they probably helped a lot of these bands get the airplay. Otherwise, we probably never would have heard of them.
So you got 25% of Bryan Adams songs?
Well, that's why all these
5%
bands.
everyone else.
Yeah, right now you don't hear any of these bands that much anymore. You hear Rush, Bryan Adams, Tragically Hip. You hear a lot of BB Gabor. He was actually Hungarian background as well. He had a big hit called Net Net Soviet. And he had a couple of albums out, and he's working on his third album. He's working with Todd Rundgren, but he wanted to get away from the new wave poppiness of these his first two albums. But the record executive, same thing. They wanted him to do pop songs, and he wanted to go more jazz, cabaret, light blues stuff. And
Right.
sadly, he passed away shortly after that as well. Hookah Orchestra, they were like a new wave band as well with heavy British influences. They had a song called Might As Well Be on Mars, Cherry Beach Express, and Listen to the Radio were the big hits here. But it's the same thing. Shame that they never made it anywhere else. Razorbacks were a local Toronto band. They're sort of like Stray Cats, I would say that they're close to.
They look like the Stray Cats.
Yeah, they're
Did
very.
he play an upright bass?
Yeah, I believe they did. Just see here. But yeah, they were that same style.
I wonder if Martin Popoff knows a lot of these bands.
I think I know he's mentioned Jane Siberry in Teenage Head, I believe. Grapes of Wrath, Treehouse. Still got the price sticker on the plastic there. Okay, Blushing Brides. They first started out doing Rolling Stones cover songs before they put out their own album, and here they even look like the Rolling Stones a little bit.
They kept the Rolling Stones feel to their own music.
Yes, yeah, very, very close. They also did a cover of Fortunate Son on here. And late in the 70s, I got more into FM radio. So by then I was listening to Pink Floyd and the Progenitus and Yes. And our local radio station is Q107, which still exists. And they put out a album every year of local bands, sort of like a battle of the bands. So, but I love the artwork on these albums. That's why I just wanted to show it. I think the only band that you'd probably might know is Honeymoon Suite.
Yeah.
They won one of these, I think it was the fourth year. So I just love the artwork on these.
I knew a couple songs by them.
Yeah, they're probably
got
the only
airplay
ones,
here, a little bit here and there.
Yeah, they're probably the only ones that you would. But I love the artwork on these albums.
I forget the one song I knew around 1986-ish.
A New Girl Now?
Maybe.
No, maybe. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to show off these albums. I just love the artwork. I think they stopped doing it shortly after this one, but
I think a lot of radio stations had these kind of albums that were distributed in their city.
Yeah, and it's good
Pittsburgh would do it.
There's some of these songs are great on. There's the odd song I like on these. Most of them are pretty much forgettable. Now if Rush did not exist, who would you think is the greatest Canadian band of all time?
Like my favorite, or
who do you think would be who do you think would be up there?
Popularity wise, Neil Young.
Yeah, I couldn't argue with that. Anyways,
favorites, I like Metric a lot. They're newer.
Okay, but for globally, I think probably this band would have been actually the Guess Who. Bachmann, Turner, Overdrive, Burton Cummings would probably be considered the highest quality. So I got this box set a couple of years ago on Amazon, and it's got the first 5. They make this friggin' box so big.
This is a BTO box set?
It's the Guess Who and Bachmann, Turner, Overdrive.
So it's both.
Yeah. So it has the first 5 Guess Who albums. They have a greatest hits of Bachmann, Turner, Overdrive, but I wish they would have expanded it and had their albums as well on here, because they had 2 or 3.
Yeah, they just put the greatest hits. Yeah, if they would have made it all Guess Who and BTO,
cool. And they have a Burton Cummings greatest hits as well, because Bachmann, Turner, Overdrive had about 3 or 4 great albums. So I wish they would have expanded on the set or held off on the BTO and made a separate set. The great thing about this is it comes with this book which has all the artwork from the band, from the albums. So, the front and back covers and any
right. Yeah. I just got a Guess Who greatest hits.
Yeah,
I got both of them. The one that's kind of green and the one where they're in the locker room with champagne and everything.
Yeah, I just wish that the set, because Guess Who still had about 5 great albums after that as well, after these ones, after Randy Bachman left. And who knows? Maybe that'll be next year. They'll put out another edition that, sucker me in for another $100 or whatever. Next group, I've got some curious albums. This is from Texas, Joe King Carrasco and the Crowns. He had like a new wavy Tex-Mex style to him.
Okay.
Yeah, great album.
A Bloody Mary looks good.
Yeah, yeah. From New York, I just wanted to show this off. They're from the late 80s, but you would think they're from 60s Greenwich Village. And I think they try to get that early 60s folk sound.
Right.
And I think caught on, but it's just a really folky album. Joe Walsh. Love the Joe Walsh stuff. I think of all the Eagles, I think he'd probably be my favorite Eagle. He seemed to be the most easygoing. I don't know if you've heard his interviews on Howard Stern on Sirius XM. Great interviews.
Older ones when he would in the early to mid 2000s, I think.
He's been on recently as well on Howard Stern. And
my buddy in town who owns a record store just had him in, and he did a Q&A at his record store just 2 months ago.
Yeah. Great personality. He sounds like he's a really good guy.
Right.
Unlike
he's
some
just
of the other
average, ordinary guy. Isn't that one of his albums or something like that?
Yeah. Split Ends were an early 80s new wave band. Okay. I don't know if you remember the Tubes?
Yep. I have that.
It's a great album, great live album. They were a little provocative as well. I don't even know.
I always remember the Tubes, and then Sea of Tranquility. I think it was Martin and Pete did a ranking the albums of the Tubes, and I'm like, I can get these albums pretty cheap at the record store down the street, $3, $4. So I went and got a handful.
Yeah, they changed in the 80s. They became more corporate, I think, or cleaner sound. They went away from the pompous, well, not pompous, but the
sort of less weird.
Yeah, they're very provocative.
She's a beauty.
Yes,
just a solid AOR hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the early stuff is a lot punkier.
Right.
And they have the song White Punk's on Dope. One of the early UFO albums, Flying. I think their second album, I believe. In the 80s, I was also into a lot of British new wave stuff. And this is probably another one of my top 100 albums is The Men They Couldn't Hang, Waiting for Bonaparte. They're very British folky.
So okay.
I wouldn't say the Pogues, but more of a Celtic sound and very, very folky, but a little bit of rocking too. Another band that was big here from England is the Monks' Bad Habits. They had the song called I Got Drugs in My Pocket.
Now, is this band called the Monks and the album is called Bad Habits?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Monks. They were big in Toronto. I think outside of England, Canada was the only place where they had a #1 record. I don't think anywhere else in the world. Now, probably my favorite Western and soundtrack of any movie is this.
Good classic.
Yeah, and they actually just got the CD of it, which has 10 more songs on it.
I'm looking to get that trilogy on 4K. I have a really crappy Blu-ray set, but I want the
I'm having a hard time investing in 4K. I've got all these DVDs and Blu-rays, so I know it looks a lot better, but I'm not sure if I'm going to make the jump quite yet anyways.
Once you buy one, it's a little addicting. You go, I wonder what this will look like in 4K, and then you buy it. I wonder what this will look like in 4K, and the rabbit hole.
Okay, this is an Australian band. They're still a rockier band, Hoodoo Gurus.
I remember them. I have one cassette by them.
Yeah, I think they're still around if I'm not
they're not too bad. They're like that punky buzzsaw kind of guitar, right?
Yeah, a little rockier. Now, probably one of my favorite artists, Bruce Springsteen. This is the 5 LP live set from the late 80s.
I wasn't into Springsteen for most of my life until about 8 or 9 years ago. It all just kind of clicked for me for some reason.
Yeah, that's I've always been into him, and what I even his new album that just came out, which is all Motown hits.
Yeah, I'm passing on that.
Yeah, and he, from what I heard, he's got another 5 album collection coming out this year, all stuff he's unreleased, but I don't know what the date on that is.
Now, Letter to You was my favorite album of 2021. When did that come out? Was it last year?
No, I think it was a bit before that.
Okay, 2020.
Yeah. Time flies. Ever since this COVID thing, I've lost all track of time because we basically lost 3 years.
Time's been flying since I hit 40.
Yeah, wait till you hit 59.
Oh, that'll be tomorrow.
So I got some books I want to show off too. These first 3 are the Martin Popoff ones, which are great. The Blue Oyster Cult one, great book. He does a great job on not just highlighting the songs, but just getting the backgrounds of the songs. There's a Clash.
Oh, my favorite band.
Yeah, Clash I was into. It's a shame that they only had about 5 or 6 albums, and that was it.
I saw the Story of the Clash double CD for $5 yesterday at a record store. I'm like, that's a cool price for that CD. I would never buy it in a million years, though.
Rush. Yeah, so these are the Martin Popoff ones that I have. Okay, that's a great one. And then there's these French guys that did these full books, like a page on every song. So this is David Bowie. So there's like one page.
Wow.
It's an amazing book. The writer of the song, the background of the song, what date it was done.
Did they now? Are they including Tin Machine?
Yes, Tin Machine's in well. So I have a whole collection of those. David Bowie. I just got this one for Christmas this year. So I just got into. Well, I'm always into Bowie, but now I'm getting deeper into the collection. Like all the albums I haven't had. Beatles, same thing. They just go in the background of each song and some artwork in here.
That's a
who
cool
played
kind
what
of
instruments, the date. And there's a whole bunch of these Bob Dylan I'm really into as well. Great stuff. Rolling Stones I have. So you can tell by these books what I listen to mostly, right? I wanted to show off the early 80s Canadian stuff just to give them props. Bruce Springsteen, of course.
Although now, so this is a whole series called All the Songs, huh?
Yeah. They've been putting out the David Bowie one just came out recently. The Bob Dylan one's already out of date because he had a couple albums since the book was printed. Pink Floyd. It's a great one. Oh, and one more. Led Zeppelin. So they're great background. I mean, I'm sure some people nitpick and find the odd wrong fact in there, or wrong date or something, but for me, these books are great.
Yeah, they're thick.
Yeah. Now, another band that I was into quite since the late 80s and right through the 90s, which I kept up with. The 90s are sort of a lost decade for me because I sort of lost interest in I didn't really get into the grunge scene, and there's all that pop.
I was all in.
Oh, were you? Yeah, you're younger than me, so that makes sense. But one band I kept up with was Marillion, and yeah, they've had these special editions come out recently. So there's that one.
A lot like the Jethro Tull special.
Yeah, I have a couple of those as well. Yeah, very similar. Yeah, there's Fugazi. I don't have them all. And there's Holidays in Eden, which just came out this year. And the other thing that Marillion's done really well with is their live albums. So a couple of years ago, they put out these limited edition live albums. I think they're just 5,000 of each. So I think they put out 10 in 2018. A lot of their concerts, but they're all limited edition, 5,000. See it there, 5,000. So I got these on eBay, which was not eBay, sorry, Amazon, which was surprising because a lot of their stuff you can only get online.
Right.
So there's like 10 of those. Anyway, just show them like that. Another band that I was into we're still into actually is oh, before I get into them, I'll get into Fish. Fish, you know Fish, of course, the lead singer of Marillion.
I know both fishes. P-H-I-S-H.
PHI, yeah. Yeah, this is the Marillion Fish. And on his website, he's redone all his albums in these special little editions as well. So, but they have like 2 CDs and a DVD on each one, and he does like a 5,000 or 10,000 word essay about that time of recording and touring, and great stories in there. But love the artwork on these.
I don't know if I've ever heard a Fish solo outing.
Really? He's got about 10 or 12, I believe. I kind of lost track in the 90s, and I've just been recently getting all these. I got these on the website.
Does it sound like his Marillion output?
Yes. Yeah, well, his voice is unmistakable, right? You hear his voice, instantly it's Fish. And yeah, well, I would say so. That's a great one. And he's got some live ones as well. These are more recent. I got these. You can only get these direct from his website.
Now, is he doing Misplaced Childhood live all the way through on that one?
Yes. Yeah, there's like 2 CDs and a DVD, and he's got some Marillion stuff on here as well. Yeah. Well, obviously Marillion, but yeah, early Marillion. It's got Market Square Heroes. But yeah, it's great. Great stuff. One of the more recent ones. He's had a couple more come out in the past year as well.
And we got the 10-minute warning.
Oh, geez, I have to move on here. Okay, I'll get into my sports DVDs quickly. A Super Bowl collector's set. First, no, 1 to 10. Just basically highlight the first 10 Super Bowls. Big Montreal Canadiens fan. So this is the 10 most memorable games in Montreal Canadiens history.
I have a Penguins one like that.
Okay. Yeah, the big one, probably my favorite of this is the New Year's Eve 1975 against the Moscow Red Army, which was a great game. I can watch that game. It's still better hockey than what you see today almost. I also used to go to a lot of Indy 500s when I was younger. This is sort of like a history of the Indy 500. Great series. And probably, I think, if I could go back in time to go to one sporting event, it would probably be September 1972, Canada versus USSR hockey series. It was like an 8-game series in the early 70s. It's the first time North Americans played the Russians. And Canada thought they would win easily. And it went right down to the last game. Paul Henderson scored the famous goal. This is a collection of every single game, full-length game video.
All right.
So any Canadian hockey fans. So for you, what would be your greatest, if you could go back in time, where would you go back to watch one sporting event?
I would go back to 1972 as well. The Immaculate Reception, R.I.P. Franco Harris.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't that a little later? 70?
No, they're celebrating the 50th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Like 3 days after Franco died.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay.
And you know what? That wasn't broadcast in Pittsburgh on TV.
No.
No, I don't think it was sold out, so it wasn't on TV. You had to hear it on the radio, or you were in the stadium,
and you
saw highlights later.
Yeah, and you can never quite see the whole ball.
Yeah,
like it looks like
they didn't have a lot of cameras back then, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like today where there's 50
a bazillion.
Yeah. Let's show off some of my animation DVDs here. Rocket Robin Hood. Did you get that played? Did you see that one?
No.
Kid?
No.
Nope. Okay. The original Spider-Man collection.
There you go. I watched it when did I watch it? I think it was on during the afternoon and then maybe after school in syndication.
Yeah, the whole set of the Flintstones. That was like after school, lunchtime for us. Not even gonna show the one, but there's like 6 of these Looney Tunes.
I have 3 volumes of that Looney Tunes, and I think there's 50 on each volume.
Yes, yeah. I think there's 6, and then they put out individual ones of certain characters, like a Pepe Le Pew one and a Foghorn Leghorn. But I got this book. I love the Looney Tunes, And they've got the 100 greatest Looney Tunes cartoons in here. There's some great artwork on this. It's a great book.
And what's your favorite?
I like the one Froggy Evening, where the guy finds a frog that can sing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Yeah, and whenever he puts him in front of a crowd, the frog never sings. He just rivets. And
I always loved the one with Wile E. Coyote and Bugs Bunny.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
my name is Mud.
Yeah, yeah, that's a few times where you heard him talk.
Yeah.
Okay, what have we got here? Okay, my favorite TV show of all time, WKRP.
I have a bootleg copy of all the ones on DVD.
Okay, yeah, they had another set that I had earlier, but they had they didn't have the original music. They had like fake rock music.
Right, that has the original.
This has, I think like 90% of it or 95% of the music returned to it, because
that's why I got the bootleg like over a decade ago, because it had the original music.
Yeah.
In syndication, they used fake music. The first time they were aired, they had the original music.
That's right, yeah. But that's probably my favorite. I still watch usually for American Thanksgiving, I celebrate it by watching.
Oh, yes. Yes, you got to watch it. Yep.
Yeah. Probably my favorite comedian, George Carlin. All his
That's a nice set.
Yeah, there's like 10 or 12 concerts on here at least.
And isn't there some audio stuff on there as well?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay.
It's a lot of extra bonus stuff, but yeah, there is an audio CD. Yeah, there's a couple of audio CDs on here too. But that's a great set for any fans of George Carlin. And Batman. This is a Blu-ray. It's got a little Batman car with playing cards that are still in the plastic. And when I first got this, there's a button on the side. You pressed it and it played the Batman theme.
The batteries are dead?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to replace it, but I don't think I can without tearing the box apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what can you do? Another show that I was big into when I was younger was Secret Agent, which was sort of like The Saint. It's a British show. And the follow-up to this was The Prisoner, which was kind of that's probably has the strangest series finale of any show. There's only, I think, like 16, 17 episodes. But this is a great collection if you're into the weird British
I only know the Iron Maiden song where they use a soundbite from it.
Right, yeah. From The Number of the Beast.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, what else we got here? I'll just show off some other DVDs that I have. Mork and Mindy.
Nanu.
Yes. Green Acres. You can tell I'm a child of the 70s.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Green Acres in syndication.
Brady Bunch with the shag carpet box.
Oh, is it shag carpet? That's
yeah. Yeah, I remember we had shag carpet in my house when we were growing up. Can't have the Brady Bunch without the Partridge Family.
Right.
Another one of my favorite shows growing up was Get Smart.
Yep.
Yeah, that was still a classic.
I think Agent 99, what's her name? Barbara Feldon?
Yeah.
One of the hottest chicks ever on TV. Ever.
Yeah. Same as going back to WKRP, I always liked Jan Smithers more than Lonnie Anderson, too. And then Gilligan's Island would be Marianne over Ginger.
Yeah, the more homely.
Yeah. Well, they weren't homely. They're still attractive women, right?
Yes, just less glamorous, I guess I should
say. Yeah. A couple
of movies. 2.5 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'll just wrap it up quickly here. Probably one of my favorite comedies is this movie called Who's Minding the Mint with, what was his name? Eddie. It's a comedy movie. Oh, there it is. Jim Hutton. Yeah. Milton Berle was in it. Bob Denver from Gilligan's Island. It's basically about a guy who he works for the mint and he accidentally destroys some money. So he gets a bunch of guys to help him break in to print some more money to replace the money that he lost. And then of course, these guys all have to get paid. So they have to print more and more money. So comedy hijinks ensue.
Right.
Okay. I'll just show off this one last thing is my Dirty Harry collection.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. That looks cool.
Yeah, it's probably about 10 years old now. But it's a great collection.
All right.
Okay,
cool.
Anyway, that's it. Oh, before you go, you guys did the Tom Petty show. I found this DVD. I went to this concert July 4th, 1986, Bob Dylan with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Ah, cool.
It was a
Nice.
great show. And there's a magazine there.
Rolling Stone.
Yeah,
Cool.
they put out a lot of good magazines. Yeah, they played Refugee, Spike, Even the Losers. Straight, yeah, The Waiting, Breakdown. It was a great concert. Great concert. Anyways,
right.
thanks for having me.
Thanks for appearing. And if you out there want to be on the show, just hit me up. Steve hit me up. He just sent me a message on Facebook Messenger and said, hey, I'll do an episode. And I said, okay. Well, first I saw you have a message request. And I said, what crazy person's messaging me? Oh, it's just someone who wants to be on Spotlight. Cool. And I said, yeah, we can hook it up. So if you want to be on here, send me a message and I won't think you're a crazy person. And we will hook up a taping and we'll put it on my Facebook page and YouTube. Until next time, though, guys, everybody take care. Have a good New Year's. Bye.